the elite Praetorian Guard. As the supreme leader of the First Order, Snokes was flanked by crimson-clad guardians, loyal protectors encased in ornate armour, ready to defend the supreme leader from any threat. Hello, welcome to Centurion's Corner, and today we're reviewing the elite Praetorian Guard from The Last Jedi. Yay! So, if you like the movie, or you didn't like the movie, that's fine. I think it's all old hat now. But we can all get together and we can all generally say that the throne room was probably the best scene in the movie. You know, it might not necessarily be the bestest kind of sort of fighting scene in any movie, but I would say it's probably one of the pinnacle points of that movie, that these guys are pretty cool. And they were standing in the background, kind of like the next generation of the Imperial Guard. And it's, you know, I kind of like the Eastern sort of like samurai armour that they got going on. And yeah, you know, I do like these guys. I kind of really like this sort of like the look of them. So with that anyway, let's look at his box. So we've got his drawing on the side here of the Praetorian Guard. You know, it's not much detail going on there, but you couldn't tell if he's looking backwards or forwards, but there he is. We've got the elite Praetorian Guard here in red and just a slightly bit of Praetorian in the black. His number 50 with his drawing and his bio on the back. So, without further ado, let's crack this bad boy open. Right, so I think it might be time to change my background with all these red characters that seem to be spewing out of the Star Wars hole at the moment. But anyway, here he is in his blister pack, and he has his spear and himself. So we pull him out to get our first impressions. I'll take him away to go and have a review, take some photos, put him in a few poses, and I'll come back with a review later. And you will see the pictures at the end of the video as well. So let's grab him out. Okay, so he feels very small, like very thin. It just doesn't feel as chunky as like another character. Like his hands feel very small as well, so I'd be quite surprised he can get that spear in his hand. But yeah, it just feels very sort of narrow and very small. But yeah, I'll take him away. He's, you know, his armour and all that looks alright. So I'll take him away. We're going to have some pictures taken, and then I'll be back in a mo. Hello, welcome back. So here he is in his all glory. We've been away, we've taken a few photos which I'll show at the end of the video, and I just put this little bit of cardboard behind him just so he stands out from the background. So what can I say about this guy? Is he as good as Last Jedi? I'm going to say he's probably a little bit more better than The Last Jedi. So I was talking to my friend the other day, Darth Rock 1. I'll put a link up to the video to his review at the top here. And yeah, you know, I think my anticipation for this character is kind of why I've left him out of the bunch, really. Not really sort of really been too fussed about this character, I must admit. But do you know what? I've had a bit of fun sort of playing with him. He does feel a little bit weird compared to the other Black series, so which we'll pick up as we go through the review. But yeah, actually he's not too bad. Like, yeah. So anyway, let's crack on. We start off with his accessories as always, and which he only comes with the one, which he holds very tight. This is quite nice actually. It's quite a nice little cool weapon. I mean, I've not really looked into the details of these guys. As you probably know, like most of the things with like Last Jedi, you know, I just kind of avoided. But yeah, it's got that sort of Eastern, sort of Asian kind of sort of weapon to it, and it's got that kind of sort of like that katana kind of sort of sleeve or hilt kind of sort of detailing on there with the silver, and it goes down to the bottom. And the only bit of detailing really that it's got is this kind of sort of vibro part up here. But yeah, the weapon's pretty cool. His hands are very small though. That's the only thing. That's my only sort of off-put with this guy and his weapon. This hand was a lot smaller than what it was, and I basically shoved the paintbrush in there just to sort of open it up a little bit more so I could actually get the a sort of like a two-hand pose of it. So he's been holding mainly in his left hand, which you just kind of sort of have to really sort of push in there. You know, you can get his hand in there. It's a nice grip. He's got it on there, and then you can now hold it in two hands as well. And you can get some nice sort of cool sort of like chopping action sort of poses and stuff like that with him. And yeah, it's a pretty good weapon. So about the poses and his posability, we'll just go over that now. So let's just start with his head. So you can look down, you can look up, you can look left and right. This is one of these little problems that he has. So he can raise his arm up, and he can sort of rotate. His rotation of his lower arm is down at his elbow. And to be honest, I thought his articulation was pretty much about there, but you have to really force it, and you would actually get that elbow to a 9, just below sort of like a 90-degree bend there. He's got rotation at his hand, and I don't think there's a hinge actually. Can't see a hinge in there. I don't think there's a hinge, but I must admit, it's these little shoulder pads that we got here. They're literally held in by a little ball peg. So if you lift his arm up a little bit too much, they've pinged off in my face quite a few times. So it's a bit annoying when posing. So you're going to kind of get him into a pose, and then you probably have to reattach these shoulder parts. Going down, so he's got a waist swivel. He's got a little bit of a crunch there, and a little bit of a crunch back, but not too much, unfortunately. His legs can open up this wide. He's got an upper thigh rotation. He can kick this far forward, and he can kick this far back. It's not really hindered by the skirt because it's just like a soft vinyl, and there's enough openings as well. He's got a double jointed knee, and he's also got a rocker and a pivot on his ankle. So articulation wise is not too bad, but I think my main concern really is this guy with his sculpt. I think to me, like, these guys look a lot bigger. They look a little bit more robust in the film. So let's see what character I got next. I got Anakin here, so we put Anakin next to him, and he just feels really small. Like if you even compare his hands, they just look tiny compared. Even his head is like it's an armor, and it just looks really small. Like, to me, they look like they should be like samurais. They should be like a really big armor and really sort of bulky. But unfortunately, he just doesn't really sort of cut it there. But anyway, we'll go through the sculpt. There's not really much really to show off, but there's a few little cool little sort of things that I like on his armor. So we've got his head, and we've got all this sort of like a ribbon on his visor, which to me, I wonder if this is where they got the ideas for the new Sith Trooper that's coming out, because he's got all this kind of detailing on his armor as well. So it kind of makes you think, what are these guys, you know? So hopefully everything will be explained in the Rise of Skywalker. So he's got a little bit of detailing on the back of his helmet as well there, and you can even see in his undersuit as well that it's kind of sort of like a padded kind of sort of like material. And that goes down to his armour again, very much samurai type. And I thought these arms are plain, but they also got these sort of like kind of sort of like designs and stuff on there, which again I've seen on that sort of type of armour. And the front, just a kind of more of a generic first order looking type really, rather than anything else. And that goes down. There's nothing on that sort of belt there. And then we got this sort of skirt type, sort of leather-esque there, and it's got this nice texture all over it. And it's very soft. It's very sort of like a little rubbery, soft material. And it kind of weighs down. It's kind of nice because it goes down to his feet, so you kind of can get him into a pose to lean him on that kind of sort of skirt thing to lean him forward to get a few poses out of that. So he's got like 3 main bits that make up his back skirt, and then he's got one at the front, so he's got a nice sort of flap area. And I kind of like it where it's sort of like those sort of skirts in it, you know, where they jump down and or in slow-mo and spin around. Like, that'd been pretty cool in the film, but it's probably not a Star Wars-esque. Underneath he's got this kind of sort of like a chainmail kind of armour. Well, I suppose it's not chainmail, but it feels very sort of like it's all very sort of like snake skinny kind of look there. And nice little black pants, which goes into his red boots. And it was quite interesting actually when I was looking at this sort of shin part here is actually the same as the First Order normal Stormtrooper. It's just red. But his knee pad's completely different. And then it goes down to his little shoe, which are just plain gloss. So, you know, he's not too bad. You know, I got him for a tenner. He just feels very thin. His legs feel very thin. Very like a female character. But I suppose like if you want to put him on the side, you know, like next to sort of like Snoke and all that. I mean, I haven't really sort of got Snoke, you know, and I think there's another version of these guys out there as well. So bearing with my bare ignorance, I'm only getting used to Black Series, but I think there's another one out there with a material skirt, and I'd be happy to see what he looks like compared to this guy. But yeah, I really like him, to be honest. I think he's a pretty good guy. You know, for £10, you know, he's pretty good. I had quite a lot of fun with him doing the pictures and stuff. So yeah, in my opinion, I like him. As an action figure, I think he's pretty cool. On your shelf, you're going to have him. You're going to have 2 really to go with Snoke. And, you know, if you're a completionist, yeah, you're going to get him. So, guys, this has been my review of the Elite Praetorian Guard. I'll give it a thumbs up. Do you give it a thumbs up? Comment down below. You can follow me on Instagram. You can tell your friends to subscribe. And thank you for the support. And I'll see you next time. Bye.